It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon and happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another week and another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Joined today by one Mike Lubie Lubitz. We have somebody missing in action. Tell me what's going on with our friend. Well, I'll post us here on the Let's Eat group. I'm a little bit behind here. But how are you today, Lubie?
I'm well. I won't use the term missing in action because, again, when it comes to this gentleman, people think very wild things. He is not missing per se. We know where he is. We know what he'll be doing. We don't know how much money he'll come back with. The one and only Jeff DeForest, Defo, will be gone this week until Friday. So he'll be back Friday for your Lunchbox action. He is heading toward Atlantic City, a place that outside of him, I don't know who else goes there, but he goes there like 5 times a year, so he's him and the Stang are propping up Atlantic City and keeping that in business. What's going on with you, Mr. Mayo? How are you?
Well, my hair's a little unkempt because I had a busy morning. Ended up doing my walk of life. Got in about 3 miles this morning and was able to survey finally the storm or tidal damage here along the coast of Dania and Hollywood, which it's incredible because, again, we didn't get hit with much in the way of the actual storm itself from Nicole last week. But what I tried to explain to Defo, and he doesn't want to hear it, it's not that the storm itself was bad here, but the ocean was pretty bad. It was rough, and it was a high tide / king tide week last week. And anybody who's been around here the last 5 years or so know that in the fall, October, November, when these king tides come in, that we start getting all this water inundation along these roads. It comes up from the bottom, from the sewer system, but last week it was coming from the actual ocean because of the wind from the storm and the high tides. So I basically had to wear like snowshoes or galoshes out there because it looked like these mounds of sand that washed up into the parking lot there, Dania Pier there, Lubie. It looked like snowdrifts back in the days when I lived up in the Northeast and we'd have these blizzards and stuff. They basically had all these front loaders and things that were pushing piles of sand out of the parking lot and just had them put them in little mountains. And unlike snow, this doesn't melt. You have to push. You have to find a way to where to put them. And my usual paths were closed along. There's a little condo along the ocean, and so they're still digging out is the term of moving all this sand. And eventually, I guess they're going to have to do another beach renourishment project and get some sand back onto the beaches instead of in the parking lots and the streets there. But anyway, it was a beautiful morning. I just had to kind of do a little bit of a detour and sidestepping and all that stuff. But after that, I got more into adventures in shopping land, and which I'm going to get into in a minute because I've become obsessed about this. And I don't know if it's a function of I don't have enough to do, although I really have things I should be.
You have a lot going on.
I have a lot going on. We have a lot going on here. And Defo, you talk about in Atlantic City. I hope he doesn't get himself into a pickle.
Nice, good for you. You followed the
Sarni, our Svengali Sarni tells me that today is National Pickle Day.
Good for you.
And I like my pickles. I'm a Jewish boy from Brooklyn. I remember all the delis used to have, when you would just walk in, they would bring you a little, not a barrel. What would you call it? A little dish. It was just a bowl of pickles.
Yep.
And it was funny. I've gone back and forth. I've been a sour guy. A lot of people think I'm a sour guy, right? But then I got into half sours. Now I'm into what I get at the store is these Grillo's pickles, and they're called hot pickles.
Okay.
And they have besides the pickling brine, they have the Scotch bonnet peppers sitting in there. Geez. That really gives it a kick. So here to you, Jim Sarni, thank you for letting me know. Happy National Pickle Day to everybody, and I salute you with a crunch. So
I've never, we've made it pretty clear how sort of wussy I am when it comes to spicy things, and it is funny because My first wife was Jamaican and Bayesian, and then my wife now is Dominican. So they're all island people, and they love their spices. And I'm sort of a wuss. Scotch bonnet, just the sight of a Scotch bonnet pepper, I start sweating
I
and
love it.
freaking out.
Now, I shouldn't eat as much spice as I do because I have some reflux issues,
Yep.
and it's not the best thing for your esophagus or stomach in general to hit it with a lot of these hot, spicy things. But I can't help myself. I just love it. I guess I'm a self-sabotaging eater besides self-sabotaging gambler. And no, and if it's early in the day and I take my pills every day for the acid reflux, I could get away with eating some hot stuff. And I do love the hot pickles. So all right, that's the National Pickle Day. But now let me talk about getting into a pickle with my shopping. And we'll get to good news later in the show because I did a lot of good eating this weekend. And before I get into my rants and raving, Lubie, how was your weekend? Did you do anything eating wise fun, or was all home improvements and spending a lot of time in? Was it you Home Depot guy or a Lowe's guy?
I'll do either because we're lucky that we have both. Whoever is close and whoever just right around. I don't. I'm not a brand loyal guy. I did do a lot of driving around picking up things because my wife and it's interesting because contractors will mess around. They will. You've had your stories.
Watch them like a hawk. You
has
sit there. Yeah.
Right. So the contractor we had, look, my brother-in-law was a flipper. He's actually my broker when I do real estate. He flipped like 20 to 25 houses. So he has people he works with. So they're not just random. So they're not going to run away with money. That's one thing we don't have to worry about is, putting the deposit. Some of the stories you hear, especially in South Florida, I don't have to worry about that. But they're still contractors. So they will sort of mess around. My wife put the fear of God into them last week.
I imagine the Shirley, she, I don't mind her to be, she's not a shrinking violet. Let's put it that way, right?
She is short in stature, but very big in presence. And she made that clear, which was my fear though, because you don't want them to go the other way, right? Like,
you don't want to tick them off so badly that they'll just well,
it's not even that. I mean, they'll do the job. It's just, I don't want them to rush it. This is something you don't want to rush. You want it done well. They're doing work on our kitchen and our master bathroom. But I guess whatever she did worked because they've been on it. Every day there's new stuff done, which is not always the case. And I really haven't had to do too much improvements yet. This weekend coming up, we'll probably do some painting. And there's the room that's going to be the studio when I'll have one room every day outside of our remotes. We're going to change the flooring. So that this weekend will be a lot of the work. This past weekend was a lot of the same. We had some pho last night and her parents had never had pho.
Where'd you go?
Singapore. For something called Singapore. I don't know.
Where was this?
She had it. We don't go out.
This is through the Uber Eats. And
she's an Uber Eats queen. So we had a place called Sicilian Oven Saturday, which we've talked about here.
I love Sicilian Oven. I think they do a great job.
They do a really good job. And then last night she got a hankering for pho, and we're in her parents, so we don't have our normal places. And I guess it was called Singapore Palace, something, I don't know, with pho. And it was really good. They did a really good job. And it was interesting.
But how does it travel? Because stuff like, a bowl of soup to me is one of those things that you really should eat it at the restaurant where it comes out piping hot from the kitchen. And like the broth has just been poured over the noodles, so they're not getting all mushy and soggy. But was it this one? I know a lot of places
separate it.
They separate it out and then you add it when it comes to your house.
It's better there, obviously. Just like pizza. I'm with Tom T and I'm with our friends at the pizza spot. It's always better there.
Yeah.
My wife she's tired, so we don't eat a lot of eating there.
Look, I understand people want the convenience and we become I don't want to say lazy. We're busy people and they have running around, and then people are willing to pay the extra money for the convenience of having it show up right at their doorstep. And sometimes it takes a little while, and sometimes it's maybe not exactly what you ordered, or there was a little bit of a mess up, but that's the risk that you take in ordering it and using these third-party apps. Which it triggers me. Did you see this post? It just came through on the Let's Eat group, but a woman, I guess, ordered it. There's a I guess it's a chain brew house thing called BJ's Brew House. Nothing to do with BJ's Wholesale Club.
My wife loves it because they have something. They have a pizza dessert thing.
Yeah, that's what this woman ordered.
Everyone loves. I'm whatever on BJ's.
Okay, so this woman and the kids, I don't know, they ordered something through, I guess it was Postmates,
Pizookie. It's
which
called a Pizookie. It's like their
Pizookie, right?
friggin' thing. Yeah,
Thank
surely
you.
it
And
was.
it's like what, part cookie and part
No,
cake
it's
and
okay. Did you
or
ever have
part
cookie
like a
cakes
pizza
growing up?
cookie. What's that?
Growing up, my mom made cookie cakes. That was her thing. It's
Okay.
a cookie cake. It's just a really big cookie that's really thick. So it's like a cake, but a cookie.
Because
That's really
just a
what it
little
is.
cookie is not enough for most people. You
No,
need the American jumbo
gigantic.
size version where you
Yes.
make a cookie into a full cake or pizza.
Yes.
And make it big and round.
Yes.
And then I guess in this case, she ordered it with some toppings. She
Yes.
wanted to order it with some, like she said, I think like strawberry cheesecake ice cream or something like
Yes.
that.
They'll give you ice
Um,
cream. Yep.
but
Which
I'm
is
thinking,
to go.
well, first of all, it shows up. She takes these pictures, and you never know when the people submitting these posts, do they manipulate the pictures? Do they eat half of it and then take the picture? Because I guess her point was the order was completely messed up, and the Pizookie or whatever you call it was, it looked like it was half eaten. It was like only took up half of the bin. And I'm thinking, all right, maybe the Postmates driver ate it. And, because that's another thing that happens with these delivery guys, that they're supposed to come in a stapled bag. And you know that if the bag is not stapled, then somebody has been tampering with it or messing it or just kind of feeding their own faces. And that's another reason why, because I've had that happen to me before, where you get that French fry order, and
There's like 4 fries.
and it's like, hey, look, if I was a stoned Uber driver running around, I'd probably do the same thing. I got to admit, I'd probably be guilty. But no, you don't like it when it happens to you. But anyway, this woman, just goes on there and puts up this gripe post. I haven't checked in on it lately, but I'm talking about, of course, the wonderful Let's Eat South Florida group where we simulcast every day. You can also find us on South Florida Live channels. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe and like. And that way, it's the easiest way to find us every day in the archives. But in any event, I just can't get past the fact that somebody is ordering through a delivery app something with ice cream in it.
Yes.
It's like, how does this work? Do they put it on ice? Does the delivery driver have a cooler? They don't have quite.
We've done it before because my wife loves the Pizookie, but the rest of BJ's is in. And every time I've gone a few times, it takes forever. They take a long time. I don't know what they're doing back there, but they take a long time. So I've complained enough where she won't make me go with her there. But it was a couple months ago. She wanted a Pizookie. So we ordered a Pizookie to go, which I didn't understand at all because the ice cream's a big part of the Pizookie. I'm like, and we live 15 minutes away from it. I'm like, so you want me to bring ice cream? Like, it's not around the corner, and it's not even like frozen hard where it's going to defrost.
Like some places,
ice cream.
Yeah.
So it's melted by the time we get there. She makes a face. I'm like, what'd you think was going to happen?
It's ice cream, people.
Like, hello.
Another thing that is best eaten at the place is if you're ordering ice cream for dessert, you should probably eat it there, especially in South Florida. If it's going to be sitting in somebody's car where it's 85 degrees out there in the daytime, tends to melt. So I don't get it. I don't. And then they complain about it. It's like, oh my God, what do you think's going to happen? It's ice cream.
Yeah, we didn't complain. We didn't say anything. I just was like, I don't think we're doing this to go anymore. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. It doesn't. It's not a traveling item. That's a eat it there. If you just want the cookie part without the ice cream, fine. Although I do know that there are some places that do deliver through these delivery apps, like Ben & Jerry's and Jackson's Ice Cream Parlor. But I know what they also do for those orders. They have pre-packed pints that they keep in these super freezers where it's like minus 20 degrees, so that you put it in a car, it could travel like 20 minutes. And when it gets there, it's not going to be soup. But that's about the only way. All right.
So what was your weekend? I'm glad one of us went to support our dear friend Tom T. And it was the right one of us, because if I would go, me and Shirley would barely eat. Steve would barely eat. If one of us is going to be the one representing this show there, I'm glad it was you, sir, because you definitely take advantage of your eating experiences.
No, and again, Tom Tanazzini, friend of the show, friend of mine. I, first met him through him opening up this Tom's Louisiana Kitchen that is usually based out of a brewery in Boynton Beach, Nobo Brewing Company. But now he basically sublets a truck down here in Fort Lauderdale. He comes down from time to time, and this was his
Nice.
first visit in a while. It's outside an American Legion Hall on State Road 84, and he was there on Saturday afternoon and just had a wonderful meal. Took my friend and neighbor Scott, and uh, it was great, except for the fact that we had this picnic outside. It was like a nice picnic table set up there, and met some wonderful other members of Let's Eat. Were
Nice.
out there in force. An attorney named David, was really nice chatting with him, and got
That's
to
cool.
share some of the shrimp and grits that I had with him, because yeah, it's one of these communal experiences, and that's part of the whole vibe that Tom and that whole
Yep.
Cajun Creole cuisine is
How was the
all
shrimp and
about
grits?
sharing.
Is it cheesy or was
Yeah,
it
yeah,
cheesy?
the
Oh, I
shrimp and
love it.
grits was the first time I've had it. It was kinda like the miniature size shrimp, or the
Okay,
smaller ones,
that's fine.
but the flavor that he used, I guess, it's grits, but he melts the cheese in it, so it's cheesy
I
grits,
love that.
and he also uses, like, a Holy Trinity mix, and bacon, and, like, a
Ooh,
reduction of bacon, and I think he used a little bit of the Nobo Brewing, has this stout beer that he pours in to give it a little flavor. So it's bacon, okra, the
ooh.
the stout beer, the cheesy grits, the shrimp, and it was yeah, it was a party in my mouth. It was really good. I mean, I used to not like grits at all growing up,
No,
but
you're in the
those were the really gritty grits, and the really poor ones. I think Tom uses the high quality ones. I think it's called Red Mill from South Carolina. I'm not sure, Tom. Apologies, I never asked you the sourcing, but they're good grits, because they have a little bit of heft, and when you get to combine them with the cheese, it was great. So the shrimp and grits was great, and
Okay.
he also prepared. He basically in a preview of Thanksgiving, he did like one of these Thanksgiving sandwiches where he had roasted turkey fresh with stuffing and
Ooh.
cranberry sauce. I don't know if there's a little bit of sweet potato mash in there too,
Oh, it's
but it
bread.
was
You
yeah,
missed the bread.
and it was on it was on basically a grinder roll.
Okay,
It
nice.
was soft. Defo would have liked it. It wasn't one of these hard, crunchy rolls. It was
That's
a
why I
soft
asked.
roll for old men in their dentures. But it was tremendous. Me and Scott split one of those turkey Thanksgiving subs. We split some shrimp and grits, and we had some of the. He was doing the grilled oysters, which you've had up
Yes,
there
those look so
multiple,
good. Oh my
and
god,
he
those
put
are
them
great.
in. The neat part is he doesn't use the shells. He kind of takes the oyster meat out and puts them in these little
Yeah, you get
tinfoil cups,
double oysters. It's freaking
and it's like he puts a double meat oyster, and it gets all this liquid that just collects, and you could just, like, they had a fire a barbecue with charcoal going to actually grill them up right
wow.
there on the spot, and got them fresh off the grill, and just slurping them down, let them cool off. That was tremendous. And then he had a bunch of things that you could take home that were packed, and chilled to take home. And I got a muffaletta from my brother and sister-in-law. They loved it, and it was one of those
But
tremendous.
it wasn't it was like the big one?
Yeah, yeah, the big one, like he made for that. Again, he doesn't do that. Well, I mean, it was a massive.
That
That's his standard muffaletta, is a big boy.
lasted me a week and a half.
And
Like a piece of it.
my sister-in-law posted about that. They loved it. And then I
Nice.
got to take home. He has that gumbo yaya, which has
Yeah.
the chicken and the andouille sausage. I don't know if he's using. Yeah, I think it's andouille, not the alligator sausage. Sometimes he puts in alligator sausage, but and his red beans and rice with the sausage, with the andouille sausage. That he makes the best red beans and rice. And I mean, it's just red beans that he packed away. I made some rice at home and put it over the rice. It's tremendous. So big thumbs up to Tom, and
Yep.
can't wait till he makes his way down here to Fort Lauderdale again. It was great because I saw andouille is in the gumbo yaya with the chicken, and the other members of the group that I saw out there, a guy named Matthew. It just seemed like people were streaming up, and a lot of people see
Nice.
about it and hear about
That's
it here, and
that's
that's good because I like to support good people, and it's good food. I haven't met anybody yet who said, "Oh, that's terrible Cajun food." It's impossible.
oh no, it's spot
And
on. I mean,
anybody who's been to Louisiana knows he hits the flavor notes, and it's not all about spice. It's about that holy trinity and getting the roux right, and getting the just boiling down that base, and getting the bell peppers and the onions and the celery. That's beautiful. And I also saw Kathy Laughlin, the sports editor of the Sun Sentinel. She was out there, and another former worker, Ellen Foreman. I saw. So it's just like everybody I know is coming up, and coming by there, and so next
Crap,
time he's in
pasta's
town or go up to Boynton Beach, and oh yeah, I forgot he makes this the crab red sauce that you put
yeah,
over pasta,
yeah.
and I haven't gotten to put it over the pasta yet. I just had a little bit, a spoonful, just to taste it. A little sweet, but that crab meat. I don't know. You're always afraid with crab meat there's going to be shells. I took up spoonfuls. There was no shells at all. It was just all pure sweet lump crab meat. So job well done. The only little damper on the situation, we were getting ready to
The rain?
finish up. Just this one rain cloud came out of
That's
nowhere,
annoying.
and it was a cloud burst for like 15 minutes. And I was going to sneak away into the American Legion Hall with Tom and have a couple of a shot and a beer, but the rain just drove us back to the car, and we just fled to our homes. But all right, it all worked out in the end, and I don't mind a little water for good food like that. So, and then yesterday ended up. It was a double header. It was birthday week for my daughter.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy, it's going to be 17th
Wow.
birthday for Natalia Rose Mayo. The big day itself is on Thursday, and we've made some dinner plans for Thursday night. But last night she worked 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, at her job, scooping ice cream. And but I picked her up, and she just wanted to have a daddy-daughter night. We hadn't had sushi in a long time, so who did we go
Nice.
see? Our friend Hui
Went to
at
Kaizen.
Kaizen.
Nice. You went to Kaizen. Oh, I'm
We
jealous.
went
That
to
was so good.
Kaizen, and man, I had a little bit of everything. And my daughter had one of these specialty rolls there. I think it's called the Mayan roll. And talking about spice, it's maybe not for you, Lubie, because it
Even
has.
your daughter likes spicy stuff. Good for you.
Oh yeah,
I want to do that to my kids. I want them to be open palate wise.
yeah, and it's funny. We had that conversation last night as she's enjoying this roll, and it has a couple of different kinds of fish. It's blanketed with tuna, and I think it
Nice.
has some yellowtail in it, but it has some avocado, but some jalapeno, and it's a little brush with a little sriracha sauce, and
Oh, jeez.
just a really nice roll. And is in the middle of dinner, she turns to me, and goes, when I have a kid, I really hope that they're not a picky eater.
Yeah, especially in your family.
And I was like, wow, I raised you right. Except for that she puts ketchup on hot dogs. But no, I was like, no, it's good. I said, Natalia, you've had your ups and downs. Like sometimes you love red meat and then you stay away from it. And sometimes she loves, the certain vegetables, and but she's gone back and forth on things. She goes, yeah, but I'll eat everything. And I go back and forth. I'm talking about a kid who just will only eat chicken fingers. I was like, well, you're gonna love your kid no matter what. But for your sake, I agree. I hope you get a kid that's not a picky eater. And
Like, were you like when she was growing up? Since we've come onto this, and Shirley and I talk about this a lot because I talk about being from a Jewish household, and that's one thing I'll say for our background. Eating's not very adventurous, at least in my. And again, that's a generic comment, but from my family, from other families, my mom dove into different styles of cooking growing up. So I was lucky in that regard. But because she wasn't used to spicy and she wasn't used to a lot of fish, I grew up, and my dad liked both. I grew up not eating a lot of spice, not eating a lot of fish. So it took me till I was older. So I'm sort of behind, and it's limited my palate. So Shirley was the opposite. Her parents were taking her everywhere, eating everything. So I want to make a concerted effort to do that. Did you?
Yeah.
Like, you guys?
No, so it's funny because my mom was a good cook, and she made all kinds of different, both the Jewish specialties and matzo ball soup, and around the holidays, good brisket, and she made good Italian food. She made excellent veal parmesan and chicken parmesan and lasagna, and but she again, and we went out to eat a lot in Brooklyn growing up in New York, and we were multicultural, but they had certain definite dislikes. They would never eat sushi. When I was growing up in the 70s, like sushi was this exotic foreign thing that first came to Manhattan in some of these really high-end Japanese restaurants in the city in Manhattan. So sushi was that was never on their plates or their palates. They don't like Thai food. They don't like any spicy food, no Indian food, nothing that has that. They were kind of meat and potatoes, seafood, fish, Italian, Jewish. So, but I got exposed enough because, I went to high school in Manhattan. I had to take a subway, and then I had a job afterwards where the job was working for what they call these like the localized yellow pages. It was called the blue books. And part of my job was like actually pounding the pavement in every neighborhood to check on which businesses had opened and closed and
Oh wow.
writing down actually like it was so old school because there's no such thing as Google Maps where everything is already loaded on and to master this was like they had boxes with cards for every block and every business on that block. And it was called, we call it the street check, where you'd actually walk up and down the street with these index cards and cross out a place that gone out of business. But it basically opened my eyes to the whole wide world of food and cuisine. And I guess that's where I first got my start is walking around all these blocks in Chinatown doing this job. And you would see all these, crazy little hole in the wall places where they only sold, dumplings, or it was a Chinese bakery. And it kind of just expanded my whole horizons, and especially around New York, Manhattan, all kinds of obviously cuisine. So that's where I got my I guess the start in just being a food explorer. And my daughter, I think it started in the womb for her because Michelle, like in the last month of pregnancy, when it was still, when it was basically deemed safe, that she started eating sushi again in that like 9th month. So she had, I guess, a little taste of sushi in her from the time she was in the womb. And she just, from the time she was 2 years old, she loves sushi and fish, Natalia. So anyway, it was another great meal last night. And
So that's
besides
I
having,
think that's impressive. I think that's really cool, and I think that has a lot to do with why she is how she is.
yeah, it's good. Um, and besides, so I'm always every time I go there, Kui always hits me up with something funky that's not on the menu that he usually prepares for a staff meal, and that's one of the things I like about the place, so that he takes care of his staff and he
That's big.
prepares something for them to eat every night. Last night he made he called it a pork based kanji, which is a classic Chinese like noodle. I'm sorry, rice. It's like a rice porridge dish, but it had a
Okay.
broth.
Okay.
And but besides the rice porridge and broth, he had little bits of I guess it was from a pig, but it was tendon, heart, and some other kind of like
Interesting
the
things.
nasty bits that a lot of people don't like to eat. But I slurped it up. I devoured it. It was delicious. Tendon, has kind of a crunchier
Is there a way to cook
texture.
tendon well? Because that's the thing with pho; they always have tendons an option, and both Shirley and I are like, but because it's always chewy, and I like. Is there a reason
Yeah,
people
you got to
like?
just let it simmer a long time, and eventually, it's kind of like tougher cuts of meat. You just
Okay.
let it simmer a long time, and eventually it gets totally tenderized, and all the fat melts away, and it becomes, kind of a more edible and
Softer.
softer. So, yeah, that was a little bit of a food adventure. Absolutely delicious, and he also spiced it up. He put these little Thai chili peppers in it. Those little red ones, the mini
Yeah.
ones. He chopped it up, and you get one of those. And I was breaking into a sweat. And then he also had this is something you wouldn't think of, but he has good meat dishes there. And I always get
I know the steak we had was great.
yeah, last night I got as an appetizer, I only had one. He serves these little lollipop lamb chops in this
Mm,
delicious like butter and soy glaze.
oof.
And it was like they come 4 to an order. I just had one. I just wanted to taste the one. I brought the other 3 home for my mom, and she's gonna have that for lunch either today or tomorrow. But yeah, delicious little lamb chops that's reasonably priced. I think 4 of them for $18. It used to be like 4 for 13, but that's a long time ago before the pandemic. But good stuff. And then we had some nice prime cuts of fresh imported fish from Japan. He has this kampachi, which is a kind of fish that he aged one of them for 6 days. So he had like an aged kampachi, and we had the salmon belly, which is melt in your mouth, and he was out of one of my favorites, the horse mackerel, but did the mix of the 3 cuts of prime bluefin tuna, the regular fat, the chutoro, and the otoro, which is the fattier ones. I'm getting into the sushi weeds, but I
Yeah.
love my sushi. And Kaizen's up there on Federal Highway, Fort Lauderdale. And you know what? There's been a number of new sushi places that have opened that are specializing in these kind of lower price, rapid fire omakase experiences where you get like 10 or 12 different courses, but it's like a single piece of fish in each course. But it's also the higher end Japanese ones. And I know there was this Sushi by Boo that was opened up actually like a year ago in Pompano, but they have since moved down to Fort Lauderdale in uh this place called Salt 7. It's become kind of like a sub restaurant within a restaurant, the Sushi by Boo in Salt 7 on Las Olas Boulevard. They do, I think it's like $75. I'm not sure the price now, but again, like you get served all these nice plates of prime fish. And I think it's all done in under an hour. So you sit there for an hour and you get these different courses, and it's a nice experience. And there's another one that now moved into where Sushi by Boo was last year in this Residence Inn in Pompano. But that's there, and there's a place in Boca Raton called Sunset Sushi that I still have to get to. I think they charge $150 per person for their omakase experience. I mean, we're getting up there now, but down in Miami, some of the same, you get the same fish basically. It's coming from the same distributor, a lot of the same preparations, but it's $300 or $400 in Miami at some of these joints, as opposed to up here in Broward and Palm Beaches. They're about half the price, between 120, 150, or even $85. So, look, if you're into sushi, it's never been a better time to be a sushi lover. So
Yeah, it's
that
everywhere.
was good. But anyway, after our meal at Kaizen, then we went down to another place that we had featured on the Lunchbox during the Visit
Somewhere
Lauderdale
Cleveland.
segment. No, Wilton Creamery. in
Oh,
Wilton
nice. Okay.
Manors.
Okay.
For
Wow.
our
Good for
friend
you.
DJ. DJ was
yeah.
there, and it's
I don't
funny
think you tell me Cleveland because I've been trying to get to Cleveland, and Shirley's been yelling me to get to Cleveland. So if you went to Cleveland, it'd be like wonderful. Now I have Cleveland's on the brand again, and the one creamy was great too. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
no, the nice part of Wilton Creamery, we stopped in there. It was funny because Natalia just got off work and she was still wearing her Jackson's shirt. She said, it's gonna be weird for me. I go in there with my Jackson. I was like, hey, let's see, that's as your work. You want to get some ice cream, and no, I got the nice part of Wilton Creamery. They have all these kind of really cool, creative flavors. They had their small batch was something along the lines of a sweet potato. It was again a lot of holiday theme, Thanksgiving, fall themes. They had a pumpkin. Not pumpkin spice, but some sort of pumpkin flavor was one of the special flavors, and the other one was the sweet potato pie flavor with toasted marshmallow in it. I didn't end up getting a whole thing of it. I just got a tasting spoon of it, and it was fantastic. But again, a little too much of the cinnamon. I'm not into all those kind of nutmeg, cinnamon, spice things when I have my ice cream. So I ended up getting the I think they call it Chunky Monkey. It's like a banana with walnuts and some other
whipped cream. Because what's cool about that place is they make like tons of flavors, which I didn't even know was a thing.
They have like 6 different flavors of whipped cream, and you could get your ice cream scoops, either just the standard scoop, or you could add toppings. And it's not a full-fledged sundae, but they call it just add toppings for like $1.50 more. And I ended up getting it with just plain whipped cream, which they make themselves there, and a little bit of hot fudge on my banana ice cream. It was delicious. It was nice. And yeah, it's funny because it reminds me of the thread on Let's Eat. My friend Ellen Freed, who went to a diner up in West Palm Beach and got a thick shake, but requested some whipped cream, and they charged her $2.50 for the whipped cream on the side. So, that's it. Anyway, that was yesterday's eating. It was a good doubleheader. Sushi followed.
We had a nice weekend. Look at you.
Yeah, this is the life I've chosen.
Well. Look, I give you credit. She's 17 and she still likes spending time with daddy, which is pretty cool.
There was a time where she's learned to compartmentalize her life. There's some nights where, like Friday night, she spent with friends. They went out to dinner, much to my shame and chagrin, to an Olive Garden. But when there's 3 teenage girls looking to save money,
I like the breadsticks and the chicken gnocchi soup. I will admit that. I do like that.
She told me that the Never Ending Pasta Bowl special is on. Weirdly enough, her friend didn't want the Never Ending Pasta Bowl, just ordered a straight up fettuccine Alfredo, which ended up being like $4 more expensive than the Never Ending. Like it was $17 and change. She said, Dad, that doesn't make more sense. And it doesn't make any sense. She got the Never Ending Pasta Bowl with the salad and the breadsticks for 13 and change, which includes fettuccine Alfredo. And she only gets 1 serving because she knows it's enough. But I was like, that's where like a waitress, a server should really say something to the customer. Say, hey, you know what? It's cheaper if you just get it this way. Why don't you just do it this way? But they're not, I guess, in the business of downselling. They usually
Oh
do.
no,
So
no.
that's it. But anyway, you know what? I'm not going to shame her.
That's fine.
This is what teens do. They want to go out to a place that's reasonable and hospitable to a group of teens, and good for her. That was Friday night for her. So she has friends night, then she had mommy night on Saturday, and she had daddy night on Sunday. Everybody was happy in the end. Hey,
Good.
and you know what? Maybe on the agenda at some point this week, because she loves it too. Talk about a hip 17-year-old that also loves going to Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Good for her. Good taste.
Which is why I explain to people
And Italian.
that whatever your preconceived notions, and again, Tropical Acres is one of those places I call a polarizing place because
so
every
weird
time
that
it's
it's
mentioned. But I saw there was a good, somebody put in a rave review about it on Let's Eat this past week. They had the prime rib, and again, how
Nice.
could you not love the prime rib there at Tropical Acres Steakhouse? It's been in business since 1949. They know what they're doing. They love to take care of people, and they love to provide good quality meals at great prices. It's great value. Tonight is half price wine night, and you get all the good wines for half price. You could also get the Twin Lobster special. I believe this might be the last week
Oh,
of $35 for those
get out
twin
there.
cream Maine lobsters with the salad and the side dish, $35. And of course, they also have happy hour in the bar for the first 2 hours.
Happy hour is great. I'm telling you, if you're going out to Tropical Acres, a lot of those, I think people that have bad experiences didn't do the happy hour. I think the happy hour is a really good way to get you going because the price is ridiculous.
It'll make you happy going into a meal. You stop in there for happy hour at the bar. You get yourself a martini, like high quality Belvedere for $7.50. I mean, that's crazy good. That'll put you in a good mood. And then just slide into the dining room and get your prime rib or filet mignon, rack of lamb, whatever you want. Tropical Acres has something for everybody. It's at 2500 Griffin Road, and they're open every day but Sunday. And they also have a butcher shop from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For all the great cuts of meat that you could cook yourself at home. So stop into Tropical Acres. They also have the loyalty reward card. Every 12 meals, 12 entrees that you punch on your card, you get the 13th one for free. Tropical Acres, I'm going to say one thing. You don't even try to go there for Thanksgiving, even though they're open on Thanksgiving Day. They're completely booked. Jack told me last week, 850 reservations already in the books. They are no longer accepting reservations for Thanksgiving. However, good news for those looking for a place to celebrate Christmas dinner, Christmas Day. They're open from 1 to 8 p.m. and there's plenty of availability left for that. So go to the tropicalacres.com website to book your reservations for the Christmas holidays. And again, Tropical Acres, tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
Well, it's a Monday, so I mean, there's Monday and Tuesday. You get half off a bottle of wine, which is ridiculous. And they have a really nice wine list. So if you're heading out there, happy hour, half off a bottle of wine, lobster special, you got it all.
So let's take our first long double break, Lubie, and it looks like somebody's intruded the chat line. We've got some things
I blocked it out from the restream.
Yeah.
So
it's all good. But we'll be back on the Lunchbox after these words. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. And there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent. Like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754 779 7788. 754 779 7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on the Lunchbox on a Monday. It is November 14th. I think we're about 10 days away from Thanksgiving. That's hard to believe. And then comes Big Friday, Black Friday, or whatever the Friday they call it.
And now it's like Black Monday. Like if they start on Monday, I don't know. They start a week ago.
It's crazy. Hey, just a somber note. Some horrible news coming across the transom that there was this mass shooting of the University of Virginia football players. Some shooter went around the campus, and unfortunately, one of the victims is from South Florida, Deshaun Perry, who played high school ball at Gulliver Prep in Miami, was one of the victims. So condolences to anybody affected by this latest gun tragedy. But just wanted to keep current on things, and it's just again another way that these the guns, they just keep. It's funny because this election, and we don't do a lot of political talk here, but obviously we just still tallying up the votes on the midterms. But we had all these topics of like the future of democracy and inflation, the economy, and abortion, but it seemed like the whole gun violence and gun control and gun safety issues just fell by the wayside. It's like, and it's obviously it's impacted us dramatically here with the aftermath of the Stoneman Douglas massacre. And but again, it doesn't seem like anything is getting done on the gun front, which is, I guess, just the way that the gun lobby and some of their backers want it. But meanwhile, the victims keep adding up, and again, terrible news out of the university.
Whatever, and it's like one of these topics that we've talked about, that everything's become political, even though it shouldn't have to be. Like, I'm not even trying to be political on this topic. It's just we're the only country that has these. Right. I mean, we are. You can say whatever you want. America great again, the greatest ever, whatever you want to call our country. I love our country. I'm here, born and raised, love this country. But when you're the only country, when it's a bad thing, and you're the only country that has it, I mean, don't you want to change that a little?
At some point, you want to look in the mirror and say, what can we do better? And we need to do better, and we haven't done better. Yes, there is a Second Amendment. Yes, I do believe in the right to bear arms. But again, it says well-regulated militia. So well-regulated is part of the Second Amendment. So I think common sense regulations belong as part of our gun culture. And, we're not allowed, we have the right to bear arms, but we don't have the right to bear nuclear arms. So why do we have the right to bear semi-automatic weapons? But I'm getting on my soapbox, and that's not going to solve anything. Hey, let me get fired up again about something that I'm again, it caused a big stir on the group last week when I posted this little shocking comparison pricing that I did at my local Publix versus this local Walmart neighborhood market, which is just a grocery store. It's not a big Walmart. And they're basically equidistant from my home. And I just was shocked because the price of eggs had gotten so expensive in my local Publix, whether it was the store brand or the Eggland's Best, like all of them were getting out of control. And so here's the postscript, and it's incredible because last week it was $5.25 for a dozen large Eggland's Best eggs at my local Publix. And just the other direction at the Walmart, it was $2.92.
Yeah. So it was more than double, right? Was it that it was?
No, it's the last week it was $2.92 versus $5.25, which is about I think I did the math last week. It was about 80% higher. Guess what happened today? Like I was expecting, like I always wonder, like, all right, does this get back to them? Does the corporate see it? Do they adjust? I mean, this thing got widely disseminated. It was seen on Facebook by more than, I think, 60,000 people. It had engendered more than 1,000 comments. It was shared, I think, almost I think it was over 150 times. So these shares were going around. And so I went in this morning. I had a little bit of shopping to do, and I wanted to notice, was the price of the Eggland's Best eggs the same? Did they lower them? Guess what they did, Lubie?
I mean, I know, so I'm
all right. Well,
I saw your post, but it was funny because even I was like, no, like, come on,
you got it. Oh, we have a lot of influence with our 92,000 group. I expected, all right, maybe they would drop it down to $4.89, get it back in the fours, or in response, if they have, if they did care or are sensitive to any kind of public perception. And I know we're not like a major news outlet. We're just, it's a group that has a lot of people. But guess, so here's what they did. I went in, and the same eggs, the large, not extra large, dozen, not 18, of the Eggland's Best eggs had gone up to $5.49 a dozen.
They raised the price for no reason.
24 cents from $5.25 to $5.49. This obviously outraged and shocked me. The thing I did afterwards was run back to the Walmart market to see if there was a across the board price increase, but no, their eggs are still $2.92. So now the Publix Eggland's Best eggs, exact same product, a mile apart, is now an 85% price differential between the two. It's almost double the price of what you could get the same eggs at Walmart. This time I did not go gently into that good night. I actually, when I was in Publix and saw the price increase, because I knew I was going to be writing about it again. And I found a manager. Oh yeah, call me a Karen, call me a Ken. I don't care. I just wanted to vent a little bit because I've been going to this Publix. I've lived in this neighborhood for going on 30 years. I've been a homeowner in the neighborhood for 22 years. I've been shopping at that Publix on Dania Beach Boulevard since it was first built and opened. I used to actually shop at another Publix that has now since closed when they built and opened up this one. So, and the lovely manager, and I said, look, my name is Mike Mayo. I've lived in the neighborhood. I've been shopping at this Publix forever, but I just got to tell you, I've kind of reached my breaking point. I mean, I still come in here, I'll get some things, but I explained to her about the eggs and how I was shocked last week to find the price differential so big. And then I was even more shocked today to come in and see that the price went up. And Tara says, I know. And believe it or not, she had seen the post. Somebody had.
Oh, she did.
She knew who I was.
She like commented on it. She's like, "You're right, Mayo." Screw.
And I kind of vented, and she says, "I don't set the prices. It's set regionally by corporate." I said, "Look, I don't expect you to." I said, "I just want you to relay to the higher ups up the food chain that I am not shopping. I mean, I used to come in here, I would do a full shop for, a week and spend $150 a week on groceries." I said, but now that it's gone up $250, it's like the same groceries that, have gone up $100. I said, and now I could get the same products for that much less. I said, I'm doing most of my shopping at other places. I said, I'm not boycotting the place. I still like you for some products and the BOGOs, but I just want you to know and pass it along that less of my money is going to be coming to you.
It's not just you.
That's
what look. And not to cut you off, but in this day and age where as you've met my wife, people can track everything. I'm curious how many people they're losing because there are so many of these supermarket stores now. You talked about Sprouts, and there's Trader Joe's now here in South
Yeah.
Florida, and we have Whole Foods, and I forget the other one that's like Whole Foods. There's a bunch of them, and Walmart has a supermarket, and you still have
Oh.
Winn-Dixie's.
There's a lot of competition out there. I don't know why Publix feels impervious to it. I guess enough of their people are so loyal that they just keep that come hell or high water or high prices that they just continue to shop there. I just want to let her know. And look, in my neighborhood alone, within reasonable driving distance, I've got the Walmart market. Besides the Publix, I've got something called Ideal Food Basket, which replaced the Winn-Dixie, which also has lower prices. Not the spiffiest place, but I have an Aldi's near me, I have a Sprouts, and I have a BJ's wholesale.
We also have
So I've got,
Sedano's, which is very similar, honestly.
So, but yeah, I've got like 6 places within basically a 2-mile radius.
Wow.
I have choices now, and I'm going to exercise my right in a capitalistic society to use those choices, even if it takes a little more time and legwork. I'm going to group things and say, okay, I'll get this here and this there. And pick and choose. I do have a little bit of time that I could do these things. So I registered my complaint with her, and I said, I just want you to pass it along. And she goes, okay. And then actually the overall store manager came out, and I gave him the same spiel because she said, the store manager, the same thing is like, they don't set the prices and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, I know, but I said, there comes a breaking point for everybody. And I am broken when it comes to Publix. Now I have one story about the Walmart market, which we'll get to after our final break, but I do need to talk about our friends at Visit Lauderdale. And it looks like we're lined up this Friday. I hope Nikki Mohan and the Visit Lauderdale gang are going to be able to get together and check out a relatively new place. I know lobster rolls have become the big new thing, even though not new, but there's a place in Fort Lauderdale on 17th Street Causeway called Mystic Lobster Company. It's a franchise that just opened 2 months ago there. And it's a fast casual place where you can run in and get lobster rolls, and they have some other items as well. But we're going to be talking to the owners there, Harry, and just kind of talking about the whole coming to Fort Lauderdale. And that corridor there is a lot of action because it's got the convention center is being totally redone. It's got the port. Obviously, a lot of tourists come and stay along those hotels along 17th Street before they go onto the cruise ships. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the lobster rolls and the new restaurant there at Mystic Lobster. And it's all part of Greater Fort Lauderdale, welcoming everybody under the sun. And that means all you foodies out there, the culinary explorers, cocktail connoisseurs, and craft beer aficionados, come one, come all. Get ready to savor every flavor and every moment here in Greater Fort Lauderdale. So much diversity, 72 different types of cuisines. I know Nikki was just out at the Big Jerk Festival yesterday that they had out in Miramar. And, we've got all the Caribbean flavors, South America. Obviously, we've got North America, Europe, Asia, everything under the sun, everyone under the sun. And we've got the lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard, dockside dining with great views, award-winning chefs. So come stay and play in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Discover taste sensations at home at more than 4,000 area restaurants. And there's also great nightlife and the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail. It's a never-ending culinary celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. So for more information about the latest events, go to visitlauderdale.com.
And stick around as we wrap up a Monday edition, a Tropical Acre Steakhouse edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here on Let's Eat South Florida and South Florida Live.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on the Lunchbox. It's a Monday. I'm with Mike Lubie Lubitz. Jeff Defo DeForest is on vacation part of this week. He'll be back later on, hopefully with some money and a shirt on his back, but we'll find out about that later. I do have to talk about a little bit the upcoming Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. Our friends Phil and Kate, very exciting stuff coming up. And I don't know if you caught the Sunday Sun Sentinel big feature story on the upcoming Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival that was extolling the virtues and the expansion and how they've really grown in their 4 years and survived the pandemic and are back bigger than better than ever. This year, it's going to be a whole week-long affair, including intimate dinners at some of the best local restaurants in Greater Fort Lauderdale. And then we have some of the bigger events, which you want to get to because just go to vlfoodwine.com. That's VL, like Visit Lauderdale, foodwine.com, and you can see the whole festival lineup. It's coming up in mid-January after the holidays. Tickets make a great stocking stuffer. And if you get tickets to 3 of the biggest events, that's the Bar Fight cocktail competition on Wednesday night, January 11th, the poolside barbecue battle, that's at the Hyatt Centric Hotel, downtown Fort Lauderdale, on Friday, January 13th, or the grand tasting at Las Olas Oceanside Park on that Saturday, January 14th. Tickets available for all 3 events at vlfoodwine.com. Better yet, you put in the promo code Lunchbox and you'll get an additional 15%. That's 15% off the already low ticket prices. We want to help support them. It's a great event. The weather is usually great that time of year. We're going to have a great time. I know Lubie's going to be out there. Defo's going to be out there. And I'm going to be out there too, doing some judging, putting my high-end taste buds to work. We love Visit Lauderdale Food Wine Festival. Again, vlfoodwine.com. Go check out all the full slate of events and get your tickets now. All right, so before we wrap up this edition, I got one more harangue, and it involves it's a jungle out there in grocery land because it seems like there's these tripwires at every moment. I mean, the Walmart neighborhood market near me, I went in there this morning and I just wanted to see what the price of the eggs were there because I'm obsessed now. I have no life at all. I just going around like a crazy old Jewish man looking at like, what's the price of the eggs? What's the price of the
seltzer to eggs?
But I actually picked up at the Walmart market. I picked up some grapes, which were much lower priced than at Publix, and they were firmer and looked better. But I had an issue at Walmart. One of the things people mentioned on the thread last week is like, be careful of Walmart because number one, sometimes they have things that are expired or about to expire. I always look at the expiration date. That wasn't an issue, but what was an issue was they said sometimes the price they have on the shelves is not what rings up on the register. And lo and behold, that happened to me today with a product that my mother eats for her morning breakfast, the specialty Sara Lee artisan sausage rolls that, by the way, it's priced at $4.49 for a pack of these 6 rolls at Publix. But at the Walmart, on the shelf, it was listed at $2.88 for these rolls, which is a good savings. But when I got to the Ring It Up today, it came up on the register as $3.33, not $2.88. So I was like, these people on the these the group is sharp. I mean, they mention things
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
on
not making things up. This actually happened. And so I didn't make an issue at the register, but I went over to the customer service with the receipt. And I, of course, I took a picture of it on my phone because I'm the crazy old Jewish man saying, "What's the price of the bread?"
Yeah,
So there it
I've
is.
done it before, but I don't always fight about it. I'm curious if
Yeah,
you
well,
fight or not.
so
Like,
I went up and I said, "Why is it priced at 288 on the shelf, but it rang up to 333?" And the woman there, somewhat grumpily, said, "Oh, the sales reps for the products put it up there, and they don't change the price tag. They're supposed like it's their responsibility, I guess."
that's not
But
on you.
you know,
That's
and
not.
at Publix, if you catch them, if something like that is mispriced on the shelf,
They give
they
you
give
the
they
price.
no, they give it to you free, and then they reprice it. Yeah.
Oh, free?
See,
Oh, that I've never
Publix,
known.
if
I
you
didn't know
point
that.
out something, if there's a mismatch where you're paying more at the register than on
Oh,
the
good for them.
thing, they'll give you the item for free and they thank you for pointing it out.
Oh, cool.
Walmart did not do that. They gave me my 45 cents. I felt like a complete cheapskate. But at least I made them aware of the situation. They were going to go change the price on
Good
the
job.
shelf. So again,
They were fighting
for the
for
consumer.
what's right.
And again, so it wasn't 288, it's 333, but 333 is still better than 449 according to my advanced math
Yes.
skills. And that's it for today in kvetching about supermarket pricing on the Publix on the Lunchbox. Yeah, Publix is on my brain now because that egg thing really
They're all
kind
over
of
the
fried
place.
my
Well, it's just annoying that it's double. I get places are more, and Julian
but
talking about inflation.
not only
And some,
that, it's
but come
but
on,
in just a
double. Like,
week
come
to go from 525 to 549 after you get pounded on a group publicly about your pricing, and for them to have the audacity to raise it even more. And I don't know what the price difference is, like another 8%. I think 24. I mean, it's crazy that in 1 week, the same price of that item, which is already ridiculously high. So again, where I hate to pick on Publix, but they seem like they're adding insult to
well,
inflation.
it's into to injury now. They're just being. That's what. Look, in this world again, like my wife knows everything's numbers. So you're telling me Publix doesn't know if they're losing or gaining? Like, there's so much more that they can afford to lose the customers because you can't tell me that they're not losing customers. Look, where I'm right now at my in-laws, the only thing close is Publix. So I've shopped more at Publix in the last 2 weeks than I've shopped in the last 2 years. I'll say that. But most people like you have equidistant to them like 7 places. So you can't tell me that it's not hitting their pocket. And these
But
companies
they are still
hate
making up for it because
losing money.
what they've done is by having these price increases, even though people like me have started fleeing for
So
other
true.
places, there's still enough people there by jacking up the prices. Their revenue for the last quarter, just from their grocery alone, I think it was up by $1 billion. I think went from 12 billion to 13 billion, and the profit on what they sold went up from 1.8 billion to 1.9 billion. So even though less people are shopping there because the items are priced so much more aggressively, that they're not feeling it. And it's not until people vote en masse with their pocketbooks and feet will they really adjust. And the managers explained to me that look, it's a big balancing act, and they do still have some of these what they call the loss leaders, where
BOGO.
they're selling the frozen turkeys for 49 cents a pound, and around Christmas they sell the prime rib for $5.99 or $6.99 a pound. These are good deals, and it's still worth going in there for those good deals, but don't buy the eggs. That's what I told him. That was my parting shot to the manager. I was like, you're still going to see me in here, just with not any eggs in my carton. So
Or milk. Milk is also vastly more expensive there than other places. Like $2.
yeah, I was shopping because I get the organic milk, and it actually was pretty comparable. It was comparable. So
Yeah, for you, it's
yeah, because I'm one of those fancy guys. But my mom, with her health condition, she likes the organic stuff. All right, that's gonna do it for today in my haranguing. Lubie, we got through it. We did more than an hour plus, and it just flew by. A lot of stuff to talk about. I'll be seeing Dickstein later today. I'm going to be trying a new place in Delray Beach, a place called Lulu's.
Nice.
It's kind of an all-day restaurant that's up there in Pineapple Grove section, and I love going to Delray Beach, so looking forward to that. And good luck to the American Heritage football team. They had their postponed playoff game. The playoff opener is tonight. My daughter will be cheering on the sidelines, so
nice.
Good luck to American Heritage. I guess the other teams made it through, right? All the top-ranked teams, St. Thomas and Chaminade, they're all top-ranked going into the playoff brackets.
If they're good enough, they're not losing in the first round.
I didn't pay attention to Friday, but all right, that's going to wrap it up for today. We might do a couple of remotes this week, Lubie. I'll be in touch.
I was going to talk
to
you.
Wednesday we might try to get down to my neighborhood and do either either a Grandpa's or a
Grandpa's,
Shenanigans, and then we'll be at Mystic Lobster
Shenanigans.
Company in Fort Lauderdale on Friday because we need to get out of the house and bring in more voices now that we're missing the esteemed Mike. I'm sorry, whatever his name is, Jeff Devo DeForest. My brain is scrambled. I'm done. That's it. You're Mike. I'm Mike Mayo. That's going to do it for today's Lunchbox. Enjoy every pickle and enjoy every sandwich.